With Lewis Hamilton potentially retiring at the end of this season, I've been having a look through who we could possibly replace him with. I might have found the perfect candidate. Hello everyone, welcome back to AHGP and to F1 Manager here with Mercedes, episode 58 I think this is now. We are preparing for the Dutch Grand Prix. We are going to go and spoil Max Verstappen's homecoming because we have lumped on a new front wing which we rushed the manufacturing of to get it on the car, on both cars, in time for this weekend. And as you can see, for all the important bits at Zandvoort, we are first and first. Okay, we aren't the best with top speed and acceleration, but we have a very light car and it goes around corners really, really well. So I think we'll do okay this weekend. Now, I did mention I've been looking at potential replacements for Lewis Hamilton should he retire. Honestly, I've no idea whether that will pop up at the end of the season or if he'll just disappear and I'll have to replace him, because I have seen saves where players don't have a driver in the second car and they have to find someone before they can start the season and progress the new season. So I've been looking at potential replacements. Obviously, we've got our very own Fred Vesti, who could make the step up, although he's just not interested because it's a race weekend. He could step up into the number 2 car and be the number 2 to George Russell, but I don't think he's ready quite yet. He needs to go out somewhere to sort of hone his skills in a race setting. There's Gabriele Bortoletto, who I've been scouting, not particularly impressed with his stats. Maybe we pinch Felipe Drugovich from Red Bull as their reserve. His stats are okay. Maybe Liam Lawson. Maybe Isaac Hadjar. Pick him out of F2. But if we were going to do that, we might as well put Vesti in, even though Hadjar is slightly higher rated. But then I noticed that there's this guy. He's pretty good, isn't he, in real life? His game stats aren't great, but, I mean, we can improve all of this. And I think Oscar Piastri would be a very good replacement for Lewis Hamilton. And he's been ditched by McLaren. He's not got a drive this season. So, maybe we plump for Oscar Piastri should Lewis Hamilton leave. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. As I said, we are preparing for the Dutch Grand Prix. So I'm going to go off and do practice and the first 2 parts of qualifying. Let's just check the weather for this weekend. We've actually got some rain coming. We've made it to Q3 then here in Zandvoort. Q1 was actually quite dramatic. We've had some rain in both sessions. I'm expecting rain in Q3 again because weirdly it sets up the weather for each individual part of qualifying basically exactly the same, which makes it kind of predictable. I kind of know I'm going to need to go out immediately. Rain in 4 minutes. Yep. So I'm going to send out Hamilton now. That is a Charles Leclerc driven Red Bull that is leaving the pit lane. So I'm just going to see if we can get the tyres up to temperature earlier by attacking on the out lap. Let's see what this one and only lap brings us in qualifying. Hamilton leads the way then. First man to start what will be the only flying lap of Q3. First sector coming up now. Lewis Hamilton sets a 24.1. George Russell a 24 flat. Maybe a distant slipstream for the current world champion. Hamilton's middle sector is arriving in a second. There is a 24.0 for him, a 24.1 for Russell. Verstappen and Leclerc not matching us. So here comes Lewis Hamilton. Does he take pole position? He does. And George Russell doesn't beat him. So Hamilton at the moment is on pole position. We need to conserve fuel and everything so that we can go in. Leclerc is 0.3 off the pace. What about Max Verstappen?
If we could just drop back a bit.
His middle sector is the fastest of anybody. Can he depose Hamilton and Russell at the front? There's 6,000 of a second between us, and Verstappen on home territory by 200ths of a second snatches pole position. What was his final sector like? Must have, well, it was a personal best, but it was pretty good. Hamilton unfortunately won't have pole position, but he will have a slot on the front row for the Dutch Grand Prix. The rain is on the way. It's here. That is qualifying done. Ready to go then for the Dutch Grand Prix with our strategies. They're slightly different because there's different sets of tyres available for each driver. Lewis Hamilton has 2 sets of mediums available to him, brand new sets as well, and I believe 2 fresh sets of softs as well, which, I mean, we can't really do a 3-stopper, it won't work around Zandvoort, but we can go medium, medium, soft, and we might be able to actually push that first stop a little bit deeper, which means, yeah, that looks a bit nicer actually. For George, he's going to start on a set of softs, then go to hards and absolutely rip them apart because they'll last forever, and then we're going to switch to a set of mediums and just try and cause some trouble actually. Not under fueling because I want to be able to push through this race. We've got that spare set of brand new softs, which will be good for any safety car or red flag periods, so it can be quite chaotic in Zandvoort. Let's do a motor race. Alright, here we go then. There is a car sparking in the background. I believe that is Bottas. He crashed in practice. We've got 5 red lights. Lights are out, the race is on. How's Hamilton's start? It's okay. Russell looks like he's pulling alongside him and he's going to go round the outside of his teammate, although Hamilton resists for now. There's an Alpine in 4th of Jack Doohan. He was the star of qualifying, beating a Red Bull of Charles Leclerc. And it is George Russell getting himself into 2nd position. So Lewis, don't fight teammate for now, just follow him. What has Verstappen started on? He started on a used set of softs for the Dutchman. A real mixture here of tyres for the opening stint. This is what you want to see on a grid. Just complete strategy chaos. Who even knows what the right strategy call is? Let's see what happens once DRS is activated. Well, we do need to keep up with Verstappen in the meantime. Hamilton has DRS on his teammate. Russell will now get DRS from Verstappen for the pit straight, which should see us start to pull away from the likes of Doohan and Leclerc. Although if we bring Doohan along with us, that means it's harder for Leclerc to get through. That's George Russell going for the lead of the Grand Prix, but not finding the way through. I think these two at the front are going to be in a bit of a league of their own to start with. Hamilton's race is going to be a slow burner. He's actually got Doohan a bit closer to him than I would like. But Lance Stroll has got ahead of Charles Leclerc, who actually is on a set of hards, I've just spotted. So that is interesting indeed. What is Leclerc going to be up to later on in this race? Russell, look at this! Side by side into the pit straight. We might as well go for the lead now. Here we go, George Russell taking the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. Can't even see Verstappen from that camera angle even. Verstappen holding on the inside line. I think he might lose out here through the banking. George Russell takes the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix, although they're still side by side really. Through the skyflop curve, and they're still going at it. This is crazy. Who's going to have DRS? It will be us. We've had DRS here to get the job done, but we'll very quickly be giving Verstappen some DRS. Hamilton now 2 seconds adrift of this pair. Verstappen, his tyres are already a little bit worse off than ours. Doohan is going past Lewis Hamilton. That's not something I thought I'd see in this race. Jack Doohan overtaking Lewis Hamilton. But at the front, George Russell is leading the way. And Max Verstappen is hot on his heels. Russell is now debating the lead with Verstappen there, side by side once more. Hamilton now 4.5 seconds down on this pair. Going to have to ask him to deploy. Russell resists the Dutchman and his advances for first place. Lewis still has Jack Doohan glued to his gearbox. Not something I was expecting at all in this episode, was to see Jack Doohan giving us a hard time. Max Verstappen is into the pit lane for another set of soft tyres. He and Russell have just been swapping positions the whole time. What's Jack Doohan gone for? He's into the pit lane as well. He dropped back from Hamilton eventually, but Hamilton has now lost almost 8 seconds to his teammate. He does need to press on a little bit more here. We're due to switch to a set of hards. We do have another set of soft tyres available. We could go soft, medium, soft, which I think at this point, considering what Red Bull are doing, might be the way to go. We've still got a sparky car there of Bottas going along. He's not got any damage with him. It's just a glitch in the game. It looks like the engine's on fire. It's not. Russell, we need to change the strategy here. 2.9 second stop. Where is Verstappen? He's coming down the pit lane, pit straight now. He will have an advantage over us. He will also be ahead of Gasly. Interesting way this is going to pan out then. Verstappen going to be fast on softs at the moment. Are they fresh softs? I think they were. But he's getting a face full of sparks from Bottas. And Russell on a set of mediums. This is going to be an interesting fight. Hamilton at the front doing 14.9s. Finally setting some sort of reasonable pace. We need a slick stop here, please. There we go. 2.6 seconds. Lovely, lovely stuff. Russell, having made his way through all that traffic, is now 3.7 seconds behind Max Verstappen. Hamilton's lost out to Doohan, which is not surprising. Hamilton looking up the inside of Doohan here. He's found a way through. Lovely move from the 7-time world champion. And now he can start to make some advances on Perez. Let's turn the engine up and go for it. George Russell is closing the gap actually on Verstappen. 4/10 quicker last time round. Hamilton making the move here on Perez. He might snatch a bit of DRS into the final corners. There we go. That will do nicely. We're halfway through the race. Let's see what the situation is here. Max Verstappen does lead by a couple of seconds from George Russell, who's closing the gap. Those soft tyres starting to wear out for the Dutchman. I'm wondering if he goes to a set of mediums or hards. I mean, we've got that option as well. We could go to the hards and really press on towards the end, but the inherent pace won't be there. Lewis Hamilton is in third and about to come under pressure from Charles Leclerc, who's switched to a set of softs as well. So I'm wondering if he's going hard, soft, soft, and that's what Verstappen is doing, just the other way around. So the fortunate thing we have is that Verstappen will absolutely stop first and we'll be able to do essentially something different that's going to give us a big advantage, or we can do the same and just have better tyres at that point as Leclerc passes Hamilton for third place. Hamilton's form has kind of dipped in the last couple of races. I say dipped, he's finished second to George Russell in both of them. It's allowed the championship lead to come down, and at the moment it is Russell who is looking the more prosperous driver for Mercedes in this race. Max Verstappen has pitted and returned to the circuit on a set of mediums, that looks like, as he's actually squabbling with Lance Stroll. We'll just slow down. It is indeed a set of mediums. I could have just done this, to be honest. Yeah, so if we take our mediums a little bit further and then switch to the softs, we could be in a really good position to catch him, because you've got to manage the tyres well. I mean, we haven't got mediums to go to. We could go to a set of hards and really set some blistering lap times. Hamilton now 7.5 seconds off his teammate, but still with the attentions of Charles Leclerc to contend with. George Russell in for his final pit stop of the race. A fresh set of soft tyres going on. 2.8 second stationary time. Leclerc in as well. Hamilton now takes the lead. Let's crack on with him. But Verstappen, who has been flying, 12.9 last time round, is only 5.5 seconds behind. The gap between Verstappen and Russell, 7.5 seconds. So we do need to watch out for our tyres, but I think if we are inherently faster, we will catch him. And look at the offset. Faster tyres and they're going to be fresher. We've got to make the difference though. Hamilton is approaching his pit stop window. Maybe he is the man best placed for this. He's actually under pressure here from a Ferrari, which I believe is Carlos Sainz on a set of softs. But he's a lap down. Let's push with Lewis towards his pit stop. What's the gap to Verstappen? 5.3 still. Let's get to his pit stop lap and see where this all shakes out. Hamilton into the lane then. Soft tyres going on for his final stint. 2.7 seconds the stop. Our pit stops have been good today. Where's Charles Leclerc? He's coming down the pit lane. It's going to be super close, but Hamilton hangs on crucially to that position, and Leclerc on used softs might not have the pace to come back at him. So Hamilton, if he wants to win this race, he's got 10 seconds essentially to catch his teammate, and then another 3 to catch Verstappen. Lap times, we're 6/10 quicker that time around, Russell versus Verstappen. As Hamilton's actually just lost the place to Leclerc. That wasn't in the script. Some DRS please, driving clean air. Through goes Hamilton. Lovely. Although Leclerc's fighting back. I don't like that. Can we secure the position? I think we have. Right. Let's get after the leaders. Russell closing in on Verstappen. We need to make sure we've got tyres at the end to really make it hurt. We're on lap 60 and George Russell has now caught Max Verstappen. We've pushed on the engine to do it. Lewis Hamilton also pushing on the engine. We could probably conserve his tyres a bit now, but keep pushing on the engine. In fact, I'm just going to throttle back with him a little bit.
Just keep an eye on those temps.
George Russell, we almost missed an overtake for the lead there, but he didn't quite make it. We're now just going to sit behind, well I say sit behind Verstappen. There is a bit of traffic coming up, so maybe, who is that? Is that Pourchaire? It's Taylor Pourchaire. Maybe we just negotiate this first and then start thinking about taking the lead. So we do go past the Alfa Romeo, so let's set this up. Have we've got enough battery? No, we haven't got enough battery.
So
let's
push now.
Make sure we've got plenty of juice in the battery. We'll top up for a couple of laps and then we'll go for it. In fact, George Russell is not listening to me one iota. He wants the lead of the race and he is taking it. Through goes George Russell. Mercedes into the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton could still be very much a threat for the win. He's got better tyres and is only 4 seconds behind. This could get very interesting in the closing stages as Verstappen and Russell duke it out in the final sector. That's fine. I'm happy for Verstappen to be in front as long as we look after our tyres. This could just allow Hamilton to close up. We'll be aggressive with him and close the gap. Russell back into the lead. No. He allows Verstappen through. Let's see how the next couple of laps unfold. Russell is now in the lead. He's he's gone round the outside of the horseshoe corner in the final sector, snuck up the inside onto the banking. Did he get DRS for good measure? I think he did. I think that's what made it stick. So he now leads this race. That is, I believe, Albon about to go a lap down. Hamilton is reeling the pair in at a rate of knots. Verstappen's tyres not particularly good. Russell's not great either. Verstappen now outside a second behind Russell. Let's deploy, see if we can take DRS away from Verstappen. It's going to do a bit of top up here for Hamilton. Verstappen has stayed within that 1 second and kept himself in range. We do need to consider our fuel. So what I might just get Lewis to do is conserve some fuel here. Verstappen now outside 1 second. Let's save some fuel. See if we can keep closing the gap with Hamilton as he does so. So the answer to that question, can Lewis Hamilton close the gap and conserve fuel, is yes. And I think he's about to go past Max Verstappen for second place, although he didn't go for it there, even though he's supposed to be driving in clean air. Maybe the next time around. Verstappen nearly 2 seconds adrift of Russell. Let's turn the overtake aggression up. We need to really go for this. Tyres aren't going to last at that rate. Can we deploy? Don't think we're going to have enough in hand to catch Russell, as Hamilton blasts past Verstappen here for the second step on the podium. Can he make it stick? That's the question. I think he might. George Russell leads the race. Now Lewis Hamilton is in second. We need to continue to open up that gap to the Dutchman. Their tyres are at exactly the same amount of wear. Verstappen has slightly better tyres, but mediums aren't as fast. Ideally, we get George Russell to slow down and give Hamilton DRS and secure the 1-2. Maybe we do that. Conserve. We'll ask Lewis not to fight his teammate. George, I need you to really slow down. But there is a back marker now between Russell and Hamilton, which is Sonoda. So Hamilton gets DRS because of that. So we could probably just turn Russell's pace back up. Hamilton is still being told not to fight his teammate, so we will secure the win with George. It is now just 0.6 of a second. Russell's tyres are really cold. That's how slowly he needed to go in the end. Sonoda will surely get out of the way here. There he goes. Verstappen has dropped back. There's another car in the way. That is a Haas of Ollie Behrman. So it looks like George Russell has done enough to secure the win. It was tough. It was a hard race to manage those tyres. But George did an incredible job. The medium soft strategy just didn't work out for Lewis. It was that early phase. We needed to go soft, medium, soft. That's what George Russell has done. He's made it work. And he reaped the benefit. It's 3 wins on the bounce for George Russell. And it might even give him the lead of the World Championship. He beats Lewis Hamilton to the flag, a Mercedes 1-2 for their 5th race running. Crushing dominance from the Silver Arrows. Verstappen 0.6 behind, so maybe not that crushing, but in terms of results, we are delivering. A fist pump of the air and celebrations with the mechanics for George Russell. High fives all round. And teleporting to the garage. Don't you just love it? The way computer games work. George Russell takes the acclaim of the crowd. Max Verstappen, not used to being that far left on the podium in Zandvoort. He's looking a bit miffed, he's a bit lost. I think he's not used to that. But George Russell taking a well-earned trophy and some champagne to be sprayed around over nobody in the pit lane. There was no one in the pit lane there. But another fabulous performance from our drivers. George Russell goes from 3rd to 1st through this race. In fact, Hamilton had a better single lap time, but his overall race time was slower. I think George Russell now takes the lead by a point in the World Championship. I wasn't sure if it was 6 or 7 coming into the race, but they're now level on points and basically everything except the sprint win, which Hamilton has from Singapore. So Russell's podiums are doing him very nicely indeed. Now, it really does look like a straight fight between our drivers. Red Bull are locked on 168 points each. Pierre Gasly's had a real good run of form recently. He's moved up the order. We're separated by a point. That is very interesting indeed. We are now 109 points clear of Red Bull. I think the Constructors is going to be sewn up. And we're really just focusing on next year's car as well. We've not done too much to this year's machine. And if you want to make sure you join me for that run-in to the climax of the season between George Russell and Lewis Hamilton in the fight for the World Championship, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And also give this video a nice big thumbs up if you enjoyed the race, and make sure you're here for my live streams and all the further videos that are going to drop. I'll see you for the next race, which is one of the Italian rounds. I think it's Imola first and then Monza, but I'll see you then. Until then, remember, you're the best fans. It's goodbye for now.